I'm here to talk about coming up to speed with desires that I've launched. And some years ago, I launched the desire to get married again one day. And I even put it in my creation box. I spent a lot of time on envisioning it. And I really knew that one day that would happen. And I, in the focusing on the marriage word, I got a number of marriage proposals in the years that followed. And for one reason or another, I didn't say yes. And then I started listening to your words. And I also started amplifying my freedom feeling in my life in general.
Is freedom and marriage not synonymous in your mind?
Well, that's part of it for me. Marriage started feeling like I could try to massage marriage into feeling free, but why didn't I just feel free? So I started wanting to create an intimate relationship that wouldn't be about lining someone up for life, but would rather be about being in my delicious now and going along, really resonating with some of the things you've said about how you'd like our marriage vows to sound, for example.
I like you pretty good. Let's see how it goes.
Right. And that feels really good to me in my now. And I've attracted a wonderful man who I love very much, and we've been together 2 years. And unsurprisingly, he's very adamant that he never wants to get married either. And I feel like I'm living in exactly what I want. But whenever I think about marriage, I don't want to do it, but when I think about that I'll never do it again, I feel sad. And I feel like it's a really potent topic, and I'm wondering, is this something I launched so successfully that I have to line up with it? Or if I'm choosing now to line up with the essence of it, all the parts that felt good without the word that didn't feel good, how can I turn toward the relationship that I'm in and whatever evolves with, that person or others without this cross current and like this vestige of something I wanted that feels like I launched it and it's out there like this ghost that shows up. I feel clear that I've decided I don't want marriage. I want to do it in this creative way that I want to do it. But then when I think about never doing it again, it feels sad. And I just want to come to a place of lining up with the modified desire. But what happened to that other desire that was so strongly about being married?
Well, your words have been very good here. In fact, you have shed some light on some things in a new way. We like especially the word you used just now, modified, because your desires are always in the state of becoming also. In other words, we've been talking like you launch a desire and line up with it, and you launch a desire and line up with it, but a more accurate way of saying it would be no desire is ever complete, because you see it as far as you can see it and become it, but then off it goes again, and you become it and then off it goes again. So every desire, you could say, is in a continual state of modification. You're hearing us here today, and many times before, talk about how life experience causes the launching of desires. And you're getting the sense that those desires are accumulating over here in vibrational escrow. So there is a state of becoming that's happening that's then calling you.
Yes.
But before you really got a handle on that, you were one of these deliberate creators, one of these goal-setting fiends,
yes,
who was determined to chart your life out there in advance. And so you had done a really good job of deliberately identifying, specifically writing down and setting down all of these goals about what you wanted. And so that's out there somewhere, not a vibrational match to the modified version, but still it's stuck in your vibrational escrow, so to speak, so a part of you still thinks that you should be working toward it.
Yes.
It's like the dream that you launched earlier has somehow died because it's not going to ever come to fruition, because it's been replaced by greater knowledge and by a dream that far surpasses whatever it was.
Yes.
And so it's like you finally have to come to terms with, wait a minute. I'm dreaming something that is even more compatible with who I am now than that dream that I launched at that time. And we think that the words that you said to us were accurate and on point. And we have not said anything really new to you. We've just used different words to confirm the conclusions that you had already come to.
Well, and that's so right. And to soothe me a little bit more, could it be said that, I think this is what you said, that the dream that I launched over here, it isn't really dead, it's transmuted, and it's part of this new thing that I'm living today and that I'm creating further as I go along.
Yes.
And it's that essence that Jerry talks about, of the essence of the desire, not really something new.
And your word was the best word we've heard yet. It's a modified dream. I have a new and improved dream, therefore I can let go of the one that I was focused upon so long before. And the new and improved dream is easier for me to become a vibrational match to than the one that I'd launched before.
Yeah, much easier, because it's with my now. I'm developing it as I go along, and I'm in it now, and it feels really good. And I'm not disparaging marriage, because I know many people can feel free about it, but where I am feels really, really good.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with marriage itself. It has to do with your take on marriage.
Yes.
In other words, there's no right or wrong to anything. It's just, what are the points of vibrational relativity that are happening with me relative to the subject? And so we're speaking on your behalf. Mm-hmm. When I use the word relationship, it feels different than the word marriage.
Yes.
When I use the word, what is the word that you use to refer to?
I call him my beloved, and that feels really good to me.
As compared to my spouse, or my mate,
husband,
or my anchor.
Jacob Marley's chain. Yeah. Yes.
So it's nice to know that you don't have to satisfy anyone's opinion that's outside of you. It's just about coming into alignment. We want to go back to something that you touched on earlier, because we think it is a significant point of reference for you. It comes up often. When you said, it feels one way to say, I am happily unmarried for now. I'm living happily ever after in this free-flowing, open-ended, good-feeling relationship, as compared to, I will never marry.
Yes.
And so we say, let's not make this complicated. Let's just not ever say, I will never marry. There's no rule that says you have to make up your mind one way or another and stick to it no matter what.
Right.
That's what got you in that other jam to begin with.
Exactly.
There are 3 dynamically loaded words in your English human vocabulary. The most loaded of all is God. The second one is marriage. And the third one is money.
Okay.
Those are the most vibrationally loaded, vibrationally contradictive words. Those are the explosive words. There are others, but those are way out there ahead of anything else. And so as a result, for a long time, we rarely, if ever, used the word God, because all it did was activate in you what you already thought about it, which took you a long way from what we meant. Because we never meant what you think it means when we said it. So we went all the way around, offering all kinds of very carefully placed blocks of thought for Esther, so that she could put together other sentences that would take you to a place different than you had gone. One woman said to us, Abraham, it's so troubling to me. I never hear you speak of God. And we said to her, we never talk of anything else. But the way she thinks of it is different than we know it to be, you see.
Right.
And marriage, what a loaded word that is. There are all those people who want it and don't have it, and there are all of those people who have it and don't want it. And there are all of those people that have been afraid of it their whole life, and are guarded against it, and there are all of those people who have been yearning for it their whole life. In other words, it may very well be more messy than the word God as we come to think about it, you see.
Well, that feels good.
When you clean up your vibration and you come into alignment with who you are, you may want to revisit everything and find new ways of interpreting what you feel about everything, rather than just throwing out the old, corrupted, negatively charged, impossible to unravel vocabulary. You get what we are talking about. Let's find a new word for marriage.
Yes.
So currently, the definition of marriage as it is predominantly presented from the vibration of mass consciousness, we'll give you the current definition as we predominantly feel it. Two coming together for the purpose of protecting the relationship. The forming of a partnership, padding it with promises that prevent bad things from happening to the relationship. Till death do us part. And please let it come early. Please let it come early. Now, that isn't what it means to everyone, but there is some of that vibration in almost everyone who offers that, you see. And so let's talk about the relationship that you have with your beloved. In other words, how do you define that? Two deliberately vibrating beings joined by law of attraction for the delicious unfolding of this natural union.
Yes.
Two evolving beings, changing, evolving, becoming, with the intention of keeping an eye on one another and evolving similarly for an expectation of a continuing of this delicious relationship.
Now I want to marry him. This is good. Yes. Thank you.